Hi, I'm Alana Gartner-Golden, and I'm the artistic director of the newly formed Four Walls Theater Company. I would like to introduce Gina Drop and Bridgette Dutta Portman, and they are going to join me for the next 15 minutes as we welcome all of you to our new YouTube channel. We'd love for you to let us know if you are here. Can't see it quite yet, but we'll get there. On the chat on the side, we'd love for you to let us know that you're here and where you're tuning in from. So we want to talk a little bit about Four Walls. We want to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we are going to be doing as a company and as a for other organizations as well. So just a little bit about where this idea came from. Obviously, this idea came from being here in this time and this space that we're in, being in COVID-19 situation. I am a playwright by nature, but I also have a social services background. And I saw friends in one field being very unemployed, very suddenly. Broadway was shut. I'm here in New York. And then I saw a lot of my other friends who really needed support and help because they were being overworked. And I wanted to bring those worlds together. So I set out this idea and Gina joined me, which was fantastic because it's a lot easier to do this with other people.
I was definitely very excited to join the Four Walls team. I love working with Alana. I feel like we collaborate very well, and I enjoy wearing many hats, which Four Walls has definitely given me the opportunity to do so as the Director of Development, as well as Marketing and Patron Services. So I've had the pleasure of interacting with all of you that are out there watching tonight and who are following the Four Walls journey through our social media and through our crowdfunding campaign.
And we are right now, we are going to be talking about Meals on Wheels America, which is Bridgette's choice for the charity that we are going to be supporting with our reading today. Bridgette, are you at this point able to? Bridgette is with her family right now, and so we may not yet be able to listen.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I really love about Four Walls Theater is the idea that each production will be paired with a charity or an organization of the playwright's choice that we'll be able to raise money for. So in thinking about what organization I wanted to choose, I was thinking about themes in the play, of course, age, our senior population. And so I chose Meals on Wheels, which it's a national organization. It has branches all across the country. And they deliver hot meals to seniors, many of whom are living alone and many of whom are dealing with financial and or health issues. And of course, during the COVID-19 pandemic, this is even more important since it's even more difficult now for seniors oftentimes to get out and to get food and make meals for themselves. So yeah, I think it's an important organization to support and important to think of the most vulnerable members of our community.
Yeah, and I saw that they were making a special effort at this time, that they have a special lunch program where they're encouraging people to go and serve a hot lunch on their breaks. I'm not sure if that's during COVID-19 or it might be, but they they definitely are doing special efforts for COVID-19. And you can check out their website at mealsonwheelsamerica.org. Because they have local spots, but they also have places. I mean, their Meals on Wheels America is located in Virginia, but they do have special programs specifically devoted to COVID-19. How did you see this particular charity relating to the play?
Well, the play deals with age, of course, as a central theme, and for part of the play, the main character Marin is she's older. She's allowed to age naturally. I don't want to give away too much right now,
Right.
but suffice it to say, she faces some difficulties as an older person in society, and doesn't have a lot of social resources. And so, I think it's important to remember that our society doesn't always do the best. I mean, compared to other countries, when it comes to taking care of the neediest and the most vulnerable. And so I think it was an apt program to pair with this.
I want to say hi now to some of our people who are tuning in. I see that we have some people coming in from Kennesaw, Georgia, Nashville, Tennessee. I see one of our Spalding friends is with us from Nashville, Tennessee. Hello to Drew. And I hope that you guys will all on the right-hand side, let us know where you're joining us from. We want to know and I do want to point out that our cast is from all over. The entire team, in fact, is from all over the United States. Bridgette is currently in California, and Gina is in Chicago. I am in New York. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. Our cast is coming to us tonight from Texas, Maine, and New York. Our sound engineer is also in New York. And then we also have a staff member who is down in Georgia. So and our director is from Texas. So we're from all over. We're embracing all time zones. And we've been rehearsing for the past week. So we really appreciate knowing where you are from. I see someone from Chicago. I see someone from Atlanta, Georgia. I see someone from San Jose, California. I see someone from Brooklyn. Fantastic. So keep letting us know where you're here from. We want to also be creating an audience, because you realize, of course, someone from Chicago, thank you. We want to let our actors know that there are people who are out there, because it's very hard for them to work in without their normal audience. So please let them know that you're here. So this is also to help them, but we want to create a space for you as an audience to sort of meet each other. When you go to the theater, you bump into people. Sometimes my husband always tells me that it's very difficult to take me to the theater because I always run into people. It's kind of a thing.
It's part of the experience.
It is. It's part of the experience. It's wonderful.
If you guys see people in the chat that you know in your real life, you can say hi and it'll almost be like bumping into them. And another element that we have is our digital program. You can find the link to the digital program in the GoFundMe campaign or on our Facebook page and the Facebook event. And you can look at it just like a real program. It has a lovely address from Alana and from the artistic director's desk. It has bios and headshots of all of the actors and the production team, so you can get a sneak peek into their lives and their professional careers in the world of theater, just like you would at the top of any show.
And I just want to read a few more people that are checking in with us now. We have some people from Portland, Oregon, Syracuse, New York, Dallas, another Dallas. We have from Inwood, which is in Manhattan. So we are, lots more people are popping in. We're very happy to see all of you. We're soon another, oh, that's the same Syracuse. She says, thank you for making this happen. Oh, and somebody bumped into somebody that they knew. Look at that. So fantastic. We'll keep checking in over the next minute or so. We're going to be getting started really shortly. Gina, can you give the some of our links that are very important at this time, particularly for getting the Meals on Wheels America support, as well as support for our fantastic artists that have been doing so much work to prepare for Bridgette's wonderful play?
Of course. We are running a GoFundMe campaign that is called Four Walls Presents Ageless. You can find that campaign linked to any of our previous YouTube videos. I've done a couple of interviews over the past week with Bridgette and Alana and our director, Andra Hunter. And you can find the GoFundMe campaign linked to any of those. It's also on our social media, which is our Instagram, Four Walls Theater. Twitter is at four, like the number, FOUR, Four Theater. And our Facebook page and Facebook event is Four Walls Theater, and the event is Presents Ageless. So you can find the GoFundMe link there. The link is really important, not just for donations, but it's also an essential location of all of our information of Four Walls mission and more information on Wheels on Meals America and the percentages of where our budget lies. We're donating 20% of funds raised through the GoFundMe to Meals on Wheels America, and we're very proud to be donating that money. And then other percentages are going to pay our actors and our production team and work into some funding for our theater overall. So it feels really wonderful to be able to see you guys donating and supporting this show, and also these actors who are quarantined in their homes right now and unable to get traditional theater work. We're so glad that this show is able to provide that theater home and create work in this time for both our production team and our actors. And once again, that donation to Meals on Wheels America. You can keep up with us on our social media, the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to see our upcoming productions. Our next production is named in our program. You can keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming in the next few weeks. So, and interact with us on any of those platforms to be able to get in touch with us on what we're doing and what we have coming up.
All right, and I'm just gonna call out a few more places because people are really popping in now, which is really exciting, and then we're gonna get started. So we've had a lot of people popping in. I wanna say hi to people from Lubbock, Texas, from Minneapolis, from Dallas again. People are saying hi to lots of different people. Bellingham is proud of you, Bridgette. All right. And everybody is shouting out, break legs. So with that, I am going to go ahead and ask Gina and Bridgette to go ahead and step off stage, please. And I'm gonna say a few words. So we at Four Walls Theater are so grateful that you have joined us tonight for our first production. Part of why we want to do this is because we care about what's happening in our communities. Therefore, we felt it was important to make sure that we let our audiences know that this play contains some themes of suicide. If you feel that this is not something that you should watch right now, we understand. We want our communities to be safe, and that is our first priority. We so appreciate that you have all shown up to share your Friday night with us, wherever you are. We'd like to encourage you to stop by the GoFundMe page to show support for Meals on Wheels America and the fantastic artists that have been working so hard to present this show for you tonight. And now, without further ado, I give you Four Walls production of Ageless by Bridgette Dutta Portman.
Ageless by Bridgette Dutta Portman. Olivia, appearing in her early to mid-30s, stands atop a crumbling seawall. Her hair and clothing are disheveled, her eyes wild, desperate, longing, but terrified. She stares out at the encroaching waves as cracks appear in the wall beneath her. Sounds of straining, snapping, groaning, the trickle of water. The sea is relentless. The wall cannot hold for much longer. Enter aged Marin, late 80s. She walks with a slight stoop as she carefully makes her way along the wall. Olivia looks up. Aged Marin and Olivia regard each other.
Hello, Mom.
Spotlight on aged Marin. She speaks to the audience.
Hello, my daughter. There is something I must tell you. I am old. Such a funny little word. Old. Say it. Go on. Say it a few times. It's like mouthing dollops of oatmeal. It brings to mind crumbling things. Mildew, dust, tattered toys with torn out eyes, hospitals, beds, tombs. It's a word we speak quietly if we utter it at all, and never in reference to ourselves. But I am old for all that, both chronologically and physically. This is my memory book. It's for you. The technology will probably be outdated by the time you care to view it, but I'm afraid I can't wait any longer. Time, as they used to say, is not on my side. I need to tell you now, while I'm still able to, why I am who I am, why I made the choices I've made. I need you to understand. I need you to try to forgive me. I don't suppose you'll be very interested in my very earliest years. Most of that I don't recall properly anyway, except there's a face, a woman's face. It's unlike all the other faces I will come to know, with their smooth skin and flushed cheeks. This face is an alien landscape, pocked by craters and crisscrossed by furrows and ridges. The hair that frames it is like the gray and white feathers of a seabird. Her voice is strange, too. When she hums, there's a funny kind of tremor in it. She's fragile, brittle, but somehow strong. All of that is hazy, though. It's best to start with something more concrete.
Marin's bedroom. There is a bed, dresser, and desk upon which sits a vase of dead flowers. Windows and shades drawn. Scattered about the room is equipment to suggest future technologies. Marin, 15, sits on her bed with a blanket tucked around her. A black scarf hides her hair.
I'd like to introduce you to me. The tragic creature you see before you was myself at the age of 15. It was the first year of the 22nd century.
Mirren, are you up?
I needn't, of course, introduce your grandmother.
Enter Olivia. She appears, as always, sometime in late youth, though her professional dress and poised bearing suggest someone more mature. She wears a purse over one shoulder and a smog mask around her neck. She claps, and the shades are drawn, revealing a smoggy skyline outside the window. Marin blinks in the sudden light like a creature dragged out of a dark cave. She involuntarily tugs at her scarf as Olivia enters, ensuring that her hair is well concealed.
Get dressed, Mirren. School starts in 15 minutes, and I don't want to hear that you've been late again.
Mom, I have a consumption.
Isn't that remarkable?
This morning I coughed up blood. I put my handkerchief to my mouth and it came away, dappled with scarlet, like little red flowers blossoming in snow.
You don't even have a handkerchief.
My cough's gotten worse. It racks my whole trembling form. My spirit is too weak. Mortality weighs heavily on me like unwilling sleep.
If you spend half as much time studying as you do composing poetry, you wouldn't have failed that biology exam.
I didn't write that, Mom. It's Keats. He wrote it when he was 22, just a few years before he died.
Oh, did he by chance die of consumption?
Yes, and so did his mother.
Well, Marin, I'll be sure to alert your doctor. The first case of tuberculosis in half a century will be sure to grab the attention of the entire medical community. You can expect to be quarantined and examined, perhaps maybe even the subject of a couple of scholarly public relations, maybe even my own.
Mom, stop being sarcastic.
I will when you stop being overdramatic. Enough now. Get dressed for school.
I am dressed.
What's that on your head?
I have to keep warm. Consumption.
It's 104 degrees outside. Stop that, Marin.
Consumption.
Take that off and brush your hair. And Marin, regardless of the state of your lungs, I have to give a presentation for an incredibly important investor. And if I don't catch the 8:30 loop, I'll be late. If you're not dressed in 5,
I am dressed, see?
I said take that off and brush your hair.
No,
Why not?
I might get a chill and die in the middle of a lesson.
Given your performances as of late, I doubt that will have any impact on your grades.
I'll take it off, just go.
Olivia crosses to Marin and reaches out for the scarf. Marin clutches at it.
No.
Marin, no.
Marin reluctantly removes the scarf, revealing that she has dyed her hair silver gray.
What did I give you permission to dye your hair?
I thought it was my hair. Do I need your signature to cut my toenails?
Oh God, Marin, I hope this isn't permanent.
It'll grow out.
Oh, Marin.
It's just hair, Mom, not the apocalypse. I don't understand why you're glitching out.
Just hair. Just hair. Then why would you hide it from me?
Because I knew you'd glitch.
For someone who calls herself a poet, your vocabulary could use some variety.
I knew you'd get discombobulated.
Oh, Marin, your hair was so beautiful, so rich and soft and glossy. Why would You want to change it to this.
I like it.
Think about how others will view you. Your teachers, your classmates. Appearances are important. What kind of message do you think this sends?
That I'm not afraid to be different?
You already convey that quite clearly. Is this some sort of new fad?
Fad?
Trend? Fashion?
No, just something I wanted to try.
Why couldn't it have been green or purple?
What's wrong with this?
It makes you look sickly, unhealthy. You, of course you do. We all do.
Olivia rummages in her purse and produces a small tin of hair dye and a brush.
There's probably not enough here, but we can start. This is the best product on the market. We'll just have to cover as much of it as we can.
No.
And just keep. Sit still, Marin.
I like my hair this way.
It's not attractive.
Just because you don't like your gray hair.
What?
Being insecure about your appearance, Mother, doesn't give you license to overreact to my admittedly annoying but harmless adolescent nonconformity.
I might have been misremembering that just a little. I do wish I would have said those things. Let's see. I suppose it went more like this.
What?
Nothing.
I've never had a gray hair.
That explains the dye.
No, I've never. No. Marin, you're on thin ice.
No one even says that. You're so old fashioned.
When you get older, you'll begin to understand. You're 15, Marin. You think your body will stay like this forever. You think you'll never have to take.
I don't even want to take it.
Oh, how brilliant. I have an ager for a daughter.
Maybe you do.
You'd like to be one of them, wouldn't you? That ridiculous cult. Their way of thinking is dying out, quite literally.
At least it's not unnatural.
Unnatural. Natural. Let me explain to you what natural is, okay? According to nature, once you've passed your biological prime, you have no further reason to exist. You're a burden on your fellow creatures. You're useless. And so at 25, 30, maybe 35, your body just begins to shut down. Your skin loses elasticity, your muscle and bone mass reduce, your fertility declines, brain cells die until. Do you understand, Marin? Lomerix helps us defeat nature. That's the point. When you find yourself facing these challenges, when you start to think about seriously finding a spouse or having children.
Eric won't care what I look like.
You may find that crushes don't last forever either.
Crushes?
Whatever they're calling them nowadays.
If you don't want to sound old, Mom, then stop telling me I'll understand things better when I grow up.
I promise you, Marin, you will understand. And you will begin to see the importance of my work. I don't have time for any more of this nonsense. You'll just have to go to school like that. Don't be late.
Fine, but when you come home, there's a very high chance I'll be dead.
Noted. Perk up in time for dinner.
I won't. You'll have to bury me.
I'll leave roses on your grave.
Somehow I doubt that.
Why not?
You never do it for him.
Marin,
If I knew where it was, if you just tell me, I'd go visit it every morning with flowers, white lilies, no poppies, and he'd like them. Mom, can people smell things?
can they what?
Smell things underground when they're dead.
For God's sakes, Marin, of course they... What is the matter with you? Why can't you just act like a normal person?
I just want it. We never talk about it.
It's not an appropriate topic of conversation.
My father?
What he did.
Why?
People don't talk about those things.
Why not?
Because there's nothing to be said. He was nothing special. He did nothing out of the ordinary. He did what millions of others have done and continue to do. Weak and cowardly people, selfish people who abandon those that they're supposed to love and support, who look for an easy escape from...
It wasn't cowardly.
Oh, you never knew him.
How did he do it?
What does it matter?
He jumped off a seawell, that's what I think.
Oh, well, maybe he had consumption.
Sometimes I think you're afraid of him.
Excuse me?
You get tense when I talk about him.
Don't be absurd, Marin. How could I be afraid of someone who's
See? You can't even say it. Dead. He's dead. Forget your stupid age reversal research. Invent a drug that'll bring people back to life.
You're grounded!
Oh, well, that's a perfect way to end the conversation.
Yeah, and that means no hologlasses. You can use them for school, but that's it.
That's torrentially unfair.
Goodbye, Marin.
Olivia leaves her hair dye on Marin's desk, pulls on her mask, and exits. As aged Marin speaks the following lines, Marin stands on her bed and teeters on the edge of it, as if standing on a seawall. She stares out at an imagined ocean. She holds out her arms. She closes her eyes.
I think it may be true in all ages and all eras that whatever is hushed and forbidden becomes the most alluring, especially to the young. And so, unable to understand death, unable to speak of it with anyone, death had become my obsession. It was a mystery, a secret, somber garden, and how I yearned to peer through the cracks in its walls and see plainly that place of which the old poets had written, the place where my father had gone, and gone willingly.
Marin begins to fall forward, but catches herself at the last moment and lands inelegantly on her feet on the floor. She goes to her desk, retrieves her hologlasses, and puts them on. Lights fade.
My other fascination was a bit more mundane. His name was...
Eric.
He is a hologram. Marin can speak to and interact with him as if they were together in a room, but they cannot touch each other.
Wow.
What do you think? Isn't it vivid?
It's
That's all you can say?
your mom let you do that?
She grounded me. There's nothing in the world she hates more than gray hair.
So why'd you do it?
I just told you.
Oh.
I thought maybe we could skip today.
Skip.
There's this new glitch. It puts a copy of your holo in the classroom, and it even responds in your voice when the teacher calls on it.
Really? That's vivid. What does it say?
It says present for roll call, and then for everything else, it says, I'm sorry, I didn't do the reading.
I don't know, man. I don't think I should take the risk. I need to bring my grades up. The last bio test was torrential.
We could study some bio together.
Yeah?
Yeah? In the flesh?
The flesh, huh? Mare,
What?
class starts in a couple minutes. I think we better gray him in.
What's the matter? My hair?
Mare, people
What?
sometimes talk.
Talk.
Yeah.
What a revelation. What do people talk about? What, Eric?
This thing you have with death. I'm sorry, it's uncanny, Mare. Not in a good way. You're uncanny sometimes. And now your hair, it makes you look old.
Lots of people used to have hair like this.
Used to. Now the only people who do are glitched or fanatics or begging in the streets. You really want everyone to think you're an ager?
Eric,
I better go.
you're just like my mom. When did you become such a bot?
I'm sorry, Marin.
Go away then. Never talk to me again. You don't even care that I'm dying.
Marin tears off her hologlasses and sits on her bed, struggling with an anger that soon turns to hurt. She runs her fingers through her hair. Aged Marin watches her memory self like a guardian spirit, reaching out to Marin in comfort but unable to touch or interact with her. After a short time, Marin rises and picks up Olivia's hair dye and a small brush. Blinking back tears, she begins to carefully brush color over her grays.
I tried, after that day, to be less like myself. I stopped skipping school. I stopped talking about aging and death. I stopped pretending to have various 19th century ailments. I went to college, followed my mother into biology and genetics, deleted all the childish poems I'd tried to write. I grew up. Still, I delayed starting Limericks. My 25th birthday came and went, then my 26th, and my 27th. I held out. My mother asked me why. I couldn't find the words to articulate it. Oh, every now and then my father still found his way into my dreams, into the corners of my eyes. The seawalls rose another foot. My 30th birthday approached.
Lights up on Marin, now almost 30, sitting at a table center stage. This is a virtual cafe. The rest of the stage is dark. She wears hologlasses. 2 mugs rest on the table in front of her.
30. 30. That number reverberated in my head like the ringing of a bell, and not the light, jubilant chime of 20, but a hollow, deeper toll. I couldn't tell whether it was heralding the end of something or the beginning.
Hi, Mom.
Happy birthday, dear. 30. What I wouldn't give to be 30 again.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know what you wouldn't give.
Marin, it's a saying. Anyway, so what did Eric get you?
I don't know yet. He'll be home pretty soon.
Ooh, hopefully something with a little sparkle on it.
He knows I don't care for jewelry.
That's not quite what I meant. You two have been together for, what, half your lives now?
Guess you're right.
And now you're 30, an age when people start making important life decisions.
Mom,
No, not to pester you, dear.
neither of us is in any hurry. We want to get settled into our careers first.
Yes, you have all the time in the world. Oh, they have really gotten these tasting real, haven't they?
Sort of. I can still tell the difference.
Oh, speaking of careers, I won't keep you in suspense any longer. You'll get my present any day now officially, but I wanted to be the first one to tell you. Welcome to the team.
Really? I got it?
Yeah, you were an outstanding applicant. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say.
Nobody says that. It's not just because I'm the apple and you're the tree.
Of course not. Your thesis on telomere length decay was truly brilliant, Marin. I know you'll do outstanding work for Lomerics.
Thank you, Mom. I'm really looking forward to it.
You know, sometimes it's like looking in a mirror.
Thank you.
And that reminds me, Marin,
What?
well, 30 is a big number.
No, it's hard to believe.
It's the close of something, isn't it? And the opening of a new phase of your life.
That's exactly how I feel.
And so it is the perfect time for you to start really taking care of yourself.
What are you? Mom.
Marin, honey, what are you waiting for?
We talked about this.
Yes, when you turned 25, and then you wanted to wait a few years, and then it's...
And I'm still not ready.
If you're waiting for the signs of aging to appear, well, you're late.
I like the way I look. So does Eric.
You do look lovely, dear. I just want to make sure you stay that way, that your outside always matches your inside. You want that too, don't you?
Mom, can we talk about this in person?
Why?
Well, I keep seeing ads pop up, Ambrosia Anti-Gray. Isn't that what you? Sorry.
Just ignore them. Come, no, Marin. All of your friends are taking it. Eric probably started.
No, he hasn't. He wants to wait too.
Well, I'm sure he will soon enough. Men can they can wait a little longer. They don't have that ticking of the proverbial clock. But even he...
That's his decision. Why should it influence mine?
Well, you need to think about family planning. If you're considering children...
Mom, I know. I'll start. Just maybe not today.
Marin, if you had a disease, you would take medication to get better. Now, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Now, you have no objection in immunizing yourself against diseases, do you?
No, but...
Aging is a disease, Marin. It's slow acting, but a disease nonetheless. And it's one that's always fatal if it's left untreated.
But we all have it. We were born with it.
So?
It's just different, isn't it?
We are offering you a really good position, Marin.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, nothing really, but...
What?
Lomerics is investing in you.
So if I start to age, it'll reflect poorly on the company?
Always had this way of stating things so that they sound ugly.
And you have a way of skirting around everything. Be direct, Mom. Is this a condition of me taking my job? Mom?
Not a formal condition, not anything written into contract, but
An expectation? And I have to start right now?
there will never be a better time. Why don't you try it for a year or so, and if the side effects bother you, which I'm certain they won't, we've minimized nearly all of them, then you can stop for a bit. How's that? Marin, what is it that you're worried about? Marin, listen to me carefully. What your father did was not a side effect of Lomarix.
I never said. How do you know?
Because I know. Sometimes people make poor decisions. Decisions that cause suffering, not only to themselves, but to those around them, to those people that love them.
Okay.
Oh God! Oh, Marin, thank you, darling. This is the right choice. You'll never regret it. And it will be wonderful working together, wouldn't it? I can even introduce you as my daughter. You wouldn't even tell the difference. What's the matter?
This isn't about me. It's not me, is it? It's not even the company. It's you, Mom. You don't want a daughter who looks older than you.
Now, Marin, don't be...
It's true. You don't want me to get wrinkles and age spots and gray hair and have to say you're my mother.
Nonsense, Marin. This is about you finally growing up.
By not aging?
By taking care of yourself. By realizing you're not going to stay young and attractive forever.
That doesn't bother me quite as much as it bothers you.
Well, it should, and it will, but by then it will be too late.
You can pretend I'm your mother if it embarrasses you so much.
Oh, you stop being ridiculous. This isn't about appearances. This is about your health.
You waited.
What?
You waited too.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, Mom. Why won't you admit it?
I didn't wait.
You did. You waited to start Lomarix until your hair was already going gray.
I took it before it was even on the market.
Mom, how old are you?
I'm not old.
Chronologically, how old are you?
It doesn't matter. I don't even remember.
Mom?
82 months.
What?
82 in 4 months. So, I know what it means to age. To see people that you love die of age.
Who?
Your grandmother. My mother. In the end, she couldn't even recognize me. I can't say I recognized her either. She'd become someone else. Something else. She'd stare at me with those eyes, those clouded, vacant eyes, and we'd both see a stranger.
I remember. I think I remember her.
She still could have taken it. She could have saved herself, but she chose not to. Like so many in her generation, they were wary of it, called it unnatural. So she died. Of course, left me to clean up.
Mom.
I outlived my mother. I refuse to outlive my daughter. Do you understand now?
I'm sorry, Mom.
Then you'll take it.
No.
For God's sakes, Marin, what is wrong with you? What are you so worried about? It won't lead you to that.
To what? Say the word.
To suicide.
And my father?
That's not why he did it.
Tell me why then.
I told you. He was selfish. He didn't care about us.
That's not true.
How would you know?
I just.
If he loved you, even a little bit, why do you think he would have done what he...
How dare you?
Oh, how dare I tell the truth about the father you never knew? I'm sure this is difficult to hear, Marin, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Your image of him has always been a fantasy. He's never been that hero that you invented.
People don't do things like that because they're selfish. He must have been desperate and hopeless. And you! Why didn't you help him? Why did you let him do it?
I tried to stop him. What kind of person do you think I am?
I really don't know.
It wasn't true when I said that looking in the mirror was like looking at myself. I don't see myself in you. I see him.
What do you mean?
You have his attitude, that self-righteous stubbornness. You just want to spit in the face of society and you don't care who has to wipe up the mess. I suppose it charmed me at first. But in the end, it destroyed him.
Why did he really do it?
We're through talking about this.
There's more you're not telling me.
I told you what you need to know. He threw his life away. It's time you grew up. Stop moping in the past and start making good choices, or you'll do the same with yours.
I'm not taking Lomerics. I don't want to be like you.
Oh, you don't want to be young, healthy.
Afraid.
And what do you think will happen when your age begins to show? 10, 15, 20 years down the road?
That's my business.
I'll tell you what will happen, and you'll see that I was right. But the modern world by then will turn its back on you. Your friends, your employers, your spouse.
Eric would never.
And then you'll return to me, my wayward daughter, and you'll hope to God we've developed some sort of reversal drug by then to get the body back that you're taking for granted now.
I'll never come back.
How are you going to support yourself?
I don't want your job. I'll find one somewhere else.
Oh, when you become too old to work, too feeble. When you become a burden on society, begging on the streets or hiding away in the agers' home, fighting to keep hold of your memories that just keep slipping through the cracks of your mind.
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbye, Marin. Happy birthday.
Lights come up to reveal that she is sitting at the kitchen table of the apartment she shares with Eric. She sits for a long moment, blinking back tears. Then we hear a door opening and Eric bursts in, glowing with excitement. He carries a bouquet of flowers and a wrapped gift.
Mayor, I got it. The Gibraltar Project, they picked me. What's the matter? Oh, I'm sorry. Happy birthday. Mayor, we talked about this, remember? It means I'll be gone a few months out of the year, but you said if I did this that you'd.
I've decided
What?
I'm never taking it.
What are you talking about?
I won't regret it. She is wrong.
Maren, what happened?
I'm going to age, Eric. There's a person inside me, a woman I could become. A woman I'll never know if I never allow myself to become her, and I want to know her.
I understand. I really do, Maren.
You've been taking it. For how long?
Not long. Since I turned 25.
Eric.
I'm sorry. I knew you'd be upset.
How long do you think you could go until I noticed?
More years. Until I guess I hoped by then you'd have decided to start too.
you were going to talk about it.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just, I've been reading all this stuff about how your mind starts to slow down after 25. And I was so worried about passing my exams, finishing my degree, and then getting this job. I just thought that if I
It's okay, Eric. I forgive you. And congratulations on the Gibraltar project. I'm so happy for you.
Thanks.
Will you marry me?
What?
That wasn't a very romantic proposal. I'm sorry. My mom ruined everything. This has been the worst birthday ever.
Then let me make it better. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Even if I never change my mind, if I get old?
The woman inside you, she's already in you, Mayor. And I love her. I love her no matter what she looks like. She could be 1,000 years old, and to me, she'd still look like a new green leaf.
You're so cute when you try to be lyrical.
They kiss and embrace.
We've got a lot to celebrate, don't we?
You read my mind.
They kiss again.
And we'll go ahead and stop there. I'm sorry about that, dear. Suffice to say that your mother and father loved each other very much. It was about 5 years later that you joined our little family. I was young, as mothers go these days, but after I'd made my choice, there was little time to wait. I loved you. Oh, how I loved you from the moment I saw your fuzzy head and your stubby nose and your tiny little fingers curled around mine like the tendrils of a new fern. You were my bud, my flower. Oh, my precious little coral. I brought you with me to work now and then, those late nights while your father was away at Gibraltar. You'd toddle around the lab at Nylor while I examined tissue samples. You remember that? You caused a bit of trouble here and there, scuttling about like a crab. Nothing that couldn't be fixed. I'd begun my project by then, my life's work, the scientific quest of which you heard me prattle without end. I know that at times I must have seemed obsessed. I'm sorry. Perhaps now, though, you can at least understand why. I had never stopped wondering about my father, why he had done it, whether he'd been sad or hopeless, or merely fascinated, whether whatever dark thing that had taken hold of his heart might one day seize mine too. And so I was determined to find it.
The suicide gene.
Marin delivers her presentation.
Suicide is now the leading cause of death in the advanced developed world. It is especially rampant among the old young, people entering their 8th, 9th, 10th decades, jumping into loops, overdosing on drugs, throwing themselves into the sea. My team at the National Institute for Longevity Research is devoted to uncovering the causes of this rising social pandemic. And I have a thesis. I believe that the impetus for suicide is hidden in our chromosomes themselves, a dormant gene that lies in wait until gradually, with advancing chronological age, it becomes activated and overpowers the natural inclination of the body towards self-preservation. The 20th century psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud predicted the existence of such an internal self-destructive impulse. He called it the death drive. It is my assertion that such a drive resides in our genes and that its expression is wholly dependent upon the chronological and not physical age. It is a supplement to the natural aging process that cannot be switched off by our currently existing xenotherapeutic agents. A ticking clock, if you will, inside each of us.
Or at least inside some of us.
And can you present evidence of this gene, this ticking clock?
Not yet. That's why I'm asking the committee to expand NILOR's budget this year. If we could just have the resources to expand.
And supposing this genetic predisposition, this drive, this death instinct can be found, are you proposing the development of a medical treatment?
That would be one possibility.
There are those who suggest you may have a personal incentive to discover the so-called suicide gene.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Your relationship to the current director of research at Lomerix Incorporated is well known.
You're suggesting that my research, this vital research, this exploration into a serious psychological and societal ill in whose resolution the Committee on Aging must certainly be interested, is a veiled attempt to discredit Lomerix.
We're only asking about the implications of your discovery, whether you intend to develop a new medication to inhibit the expression of this gene in the young old, or whether you plan to use its existence to legitimize certain poor life choices.
Just how much did Lomerix pay to get you reelected?
That. I really should have said that. I held my tongue, though. They'd struck a nerve in me, a tiny doubt about the choice I'd made. For the first few years, the changes in my body were so slow, so subtle that I didn't notice them. Neither, I imagine, did my colleagues, nor my husband, nor you. Gradually, though, they became apparent. The beginnings of lines, the first few gray hairs, the hint of a sag in my cheeks, the quiet harbingers of a transformation I both anticipated and feared. I know you thought me firm, stubborn, stalwart on my chosen path, but that wasn't always true. There were long nights lying awake beside your father when I felt worries seep into my mind like water into an aging boat. Was I slowing down, losing my stamina, my concentration? Had my knuckles always felt so stiff? When did you stop bringing your friends home to visit? Why couldn't I remember the words to that old Keats poem?
Lights up on Marin, now about 50, in night clothes.
Now and then I'd try to write poems of my own, to put my troubles into words, but somehow I never could find the rhymes.
Little girl sits waiting by the sea. face is smooth like shells. No. Smooth and polished as a shell. Their brightness lingers in my memory. A woman sees me from behind a mirror. What on earth rhymes with mirror? A woman sees me through a mirror pane.
Mirror, you still up?
Delete.
I'd return to bed, patch up the leaks in my resolve, fix my eye back upon the pole star of my quest. I'd wake up the next morning and brush strength and perseverance over my doubts like my mother used to brush color over her grays. I admit, my dear, that I may have been a little in denial. The seawalls rose by another foot. My 50th birthday approached, as did your 15th.
Lights up on Marin in her lab. She is in mid-conversation with Coral, 15, who appears as a hologram as she speaks to her mother from Gibraltar. Neither wear hologlasses, but wear special wristbands instead. Coral bears some resemblance to young Marin in her attitude and mannerisms, but is more conventional.
Mom, it's safe. Stop worrying.
I know, dear. I just...
The Daedalus disaster was before I was even born.
Probably not the smartest thing to bring up right now.
I just meant that they fixed all the problems.
I know, Coral, but I want to be sure that you're ready. You've never done anything like this before.
That's why I want to do it. Dara's parents let her go, and she said that it's so angular.
And here I thought it was a sphere.
You know, vivid.
Moon? Oh, Coral, the moon?
You make it sound so dramatic. It's a circumlunar trip. I won't even be landing. I'll just zip around it a few times. I mean, you know, orbit around it at a safe and moderate pace. And then I'll come straight back here. It's so easy. Stop worrying.
I'm a mother. Worrying is in my DNA. Trust me, I've mapped it. It's a full one tonight, they say, but there's too much smog here. Can you see it from there?
Yeah. It's up over the dam. Oh, it looks so pretty shining on the water.
It would be a thrill to see it up close.
Dad says I'm an adventurer, like you.
I would have loved this when I was 15, I'll admit that. I've done anything to get away from my...
You're not mad about...
Of course not. No, absolutely not, honey.
Well, it's just that there are some physical restrictions and...
Yes, I know. It's better you go with your father. You don't spend enough time with him as it is. And these little trips of yours are too short. Maybe you'll see the dam from space.
It's not that tall yet, Mom.
I'm fine, really. I want you two to have fun. Go. See the moon with your dad.
I thought you were worried about me.
I said go. Please.
Mom, there's been one little problem. Dad can't go.
What?
He can't go with me anymore. The dam's hit a glitch, and so they're keeping him here another month.
Why? Can't someone else handle it?
He said he has to be here. It's political problems or something.
Well, then, how unfortunate. But don't worry, Coral. My doctor says I'm in excellent shape given my circumstances. I'm sure I can get her to declare me fit for
no, you don't have to do that, Mom.
Coral, you can't go up alone.
Well, I won't have to. Somebody else wants to go with me.
Who? Who is it, Coral?
Grandma?
Your grandma. She won't even take a suborbital.
Not that grandma.
When did she speak to you?
She was here visiting the dam.
Why was she visiting
And
the
you know
dam?
what? She's been on a circumlunar before. So she'll be able to tell me like what to expect and how to prepare and what to
No, absolutely not.
But Dad said that
Dad said what? What did Dad say?
he said that he thought you'd see reason.
I need to talk to him. Eric,
Mom,
glitch thing.
Mom, I told you how you have to press the other button on the.
I got it.
Mom, please.
We'll discuss this later, Coral. I need to talk to your father now.
How could you have gone with me anyway? You'd have been too busy at the lab.
Hey, what's going on?
Why was my mother at the dam? And what did she say to Coral?
Calm down, Mayor.
Our daughter is not going to the moon with my mother.
Just circling it.
Why can't it be you? What's happening this time?
It's the new Moroccan government. They're threatening to withdraw. And the protesters are still making a fuss about increased salinity. Damn terrorists.
Eric.
What? That's what they are. They keep trying to sabotage the new extension. They'd rather let the Mediterranean drown than risk damaging the habitat of a few fish and birds. We're already 6 months behind schedule, and now...
You didn't tell her yes, did you?
I said I'd talk to you, but Mayor, this...
I'll go.
Mayor, a suborbital flight is one thing, but going to the moon at your age?
I'm 50, Eric. My mother's over 100.
You know what I mean.
I'm in excellent shape.
For someone like you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that to
What
be
the hell was she even doing there?
some promotional thing for Lomerics. A photo shoot with the dam in the background. Celebration of technological progress or something along those lines.
We'll find someone else to go with her. Anyone else.
It might be for the best, Mayor.
Why?
She's offered to pay for her own ticket.
What?
She's calling it a birthday gift for Coral.
No, not a chance.
It would help. The ticket prices are ridiculous.
I know what they are. That's why Coral's been saving up since she was 12. She told me she'd be able to cover it all with just a little help from us.
She needs more than a little help.
So she asked my mother? Why didn't she talk to me or you?
Didn't ask her. It just came up and your mother offered.
We'll find a way to finance this. We don't need her money.
This is about more than money.
What is it about?
Family.
Whose?
Mayor. Coral's her granddaughter. She wants to give her a present. Something more than a birthday, Graham. You won't even let her see. Doesn't she have that right?
Never tried to give her anything like this before.
Well, maybe she thinks it's a big birthday.
15?
No, 50. She's doing this for you too. She wants to reconnect.
By stealing my daughter?
God, Marin, you never even let them meet. Is that fair? Maybe it's fair to your mother. I don't know. But to Coral, how must she feel never knowing her grandmother? It's only 3 days. Coral can't go up unchaperoned, and there's no time to find someone else. It's this, or we cancel the trip.
If I agree to this, I don't want them meeting again without my knowledge.
That's reasonable.
Then okay.
Mare, if it weren't for, I'm sure Coral would want to go with you. She loves you.
I know. I'm fine, Eric.
She's not embarrassed by you.
Did I say she was? Please stop just trying to reassure me. It is not helping.
Sorry. Words never were my strength. You're the poet.
I haven't written a poem in years.
Mare, are you sure you're okay with this?
One can be 50 years old, my dear, and still be startlingly immature. I'm sorry. I should have been happy for you, but no one enjoys having their self-delusions shaken. I think it was that day that I truly realized, that time was beginning to turn against me. All those little changes I'd been ignoring were adding up. I began to feel them, each passing hour, minute, second, settling like dust motes on my skin, sinking into my pores, deepening the lines and wrinkles, pressing me down toward the earth.
Lights up on Marin now in her living room.
A woman sees me through a mirror pane. She's rough around the edges, cracked and worn. No, frayed, cracked and frayed. The story of her years, her gathering years. Story of her years.
We're home.
Delete.
I brought the girl in the moon.
Oh, Mom, I loved it.
Was it as angular as you expected?
Yes. They say that Earth looks like a marble, and I knew that, but you don't really understand until you're out there. And zero gravity, it feels like you're falling and falling, but it's okay because you never have to land. And every way you turn it up, but not up, and I can't explain it. You have to actually like. Anyway, happy birthday, Mom.
You too, sweetie. I suppose you'll be wanting to go again?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I want to visit Mars next.
Ah, well, that's a bit of a longer trip. There are plenty of wonderful places to see here on Earth.
Earth is boring and dirty. Our future's in space.
I think we've raised an astronaut, Mare.
When people can't live on Earth anymore, we're going to have to go somewhere else. Mars is just practice. We're going to build giant ships with whole cities inside where people can live for 1,000 years. I mean, at least that's what Grandma says, but...
How is your grandma?
She's fine. Mom, she wanted me to give you this. I told her that she should just call you, but she didn't think that you...
Better go and pack your things, Coral.
She's really nice, Mom.
You want me to leave too?
No.
Hello, Marin. I trust you're well. The moon is breathtaking. It's dark, lifeless, but still beautiful in its own way. When I look down at that smooth basalt plain, I can appreciate why they named it Mare Tranquillitatis. And to view Earth from this vantage point 240,000 miles above its tallest mountains. Well, it gives one a certain degree of perspective. Both you and I are accustomed to scrutinizing the world at a micro level. But now and then, I think it's healthy to consider things on a more cosmic scale. Coral is beautiful too. She has her father's eyes, but there's a certain resemblance to her mother. Thank you for allowing me to meet her. I truly wish you were here with us. But this is a lonely place for all of its serenity. Coral asks me, why don't more people live on the moon? One little international base, a training ground for Martian pioneers? Why not colonies, countries, just continents? I gave her the answer. This satellite of ours is inert. It's devoid of organic compounds, of anything that would be profitable to living creatures. And so we moved on. When one has set forth on a trajectory, it can be difficult to recognize that it is an error. Our temptation to pursue things that elude us to the ends of the earth and beyond. But there are times to appreciate and acknowledge when one has reached a dead end. There are other worlds, other ventures, other quests that would be more fruitful and more fulfilling. Perhaps we could even pursue them together. My very best to you on your birthday, Marin. And if you pardon my use of an antiquated phrase, I wish you many happy returns of the day.
An antiquated phrase?
Look at that.
Could she be any less subtle?
I think it's a peace offering.
It's a warning.
What?
This is about my research, the suicide gene. She wants me to abandon it. She did all this to punish me.
Did we hear the same message?
She thinks I want to undermine her. I hate her.
She thanked you, didn't she? She said she wanted to pursue ventures with you.
Her ventures. She wants me to quit what I'm doing and join her team.
Is it possible that she just missed her daughter?
Her firstborn will always be Lomerix.
So you're not even going to respond?
No.
She's tried to be a good mother, you know.
What?
She's tried, but you hurt her. She feels betrayed.
And you know this how?
We talked now and then. She's asked about Coral, sometimes about you.
Oh, doting of her. I've changed my mind. I am going to respond.
Don't say something you'll regret. You should give yourself time to think
Could you
through.
please go help Coral unpack? Hello, Mother. I've received your message. You'll be interested to know that I plan to submit for publication my manuscript on the epidemic of suicide among the old young, and my preliminary findings regarding the possible exacerbating role of Lomerix. I anticipate this line of research being judged a rather fruitful avenue for future grants. I'm considering whether to include a foreword, a bit of a personal touch. I think readers might find it intriguing. The story of how the author grew up without a father, in the shadow of a mother who didn't care enough to save him or pay him her respects or even speak his name. A mother who even now wants to block her daughter from the truth. I know you enjoy orbiting around the points that you make. I've always preferred a direct landing. Never contact me or my family again.
I don't think I need to tell you that your mother has always had a flair for the dramatic. It was a bit of a bluff, of course, that message I sent. I couldn't yet point to a suicide gene, but I could draw public attention to the troubling patterns, the compounding trends, the rising wave of self-inflicted violent deaths among the old young that no one was talking about. So I published my book with the foreword, gave a series of presentations and lectures, did a number of interviews. I ought to have expected the retribution. Perhaps I did. Perhaps part of me wanted a fight. The trouble was, it wasn't a fight I could win.
Lights up on Marin, who stands facing the audience as if giving a presentation.
I don't understand. Reducing our budget.
It's useless to argue with them.
But I'm so close. The suicide is an epidemic. Worse every year. I know I can find the gene responsible if only you give us the funding to run the studies that we need.
They won't listen.
You're supposed to represent the people. Stop being such bots.
You're wasting your time.
Do you take all your orders from Lumerics?
They are Lumerics. I hope you can understand, Coral, how frustrated I was during those days. So when we had our disagreements at home, I may have been poised to overreact.
Explain this.
What were you doing in my room? God, even the cleaning bot gives me more privacy.
Answer me, Coral. Why do you have these? How long have you been taking them?
I haven't yet.
But you were planning to?
I might have been thinking about it.
Coral, you're 17.
Old enough to make my own choices.
Why on earth would you even consider taking these? For God's sake, you aren't even stopped growing yet.
Don't get all morphed. It won't freeze me forever. I can always change my mind.
Lumerics hasn't been approved for people under 18.
How would you know? There have been lots of new advances.
It could have negative effects on your development.
Then I'll stop using it.
Permanent effects? I don't understand. Why would you want to stop aging now? Has someone been pressuring you?
I like the way I look.
So do I, Coral. You're beautiful. But don't you want to grow up?
Ugh, I am grown up. Enough.
You need to wait until you're absolutely certain that you want to do this.
I am certain.
You can't be.
Why?
You're 17.
I know. I've been counting too.
I don't have time for your attitude. I need to go to work.
Can I have him back?
No. I told you they could be harmful.
Dara's been taking them for 6 months and she's fine.
Dara, do her parents know?
Maybe they do. Maybe her mother trusts her to make her own decisions.
Is she the one who gave them to you?
No,
Then who?
I'm not telling.
I had no idea your friends were doing something so stupid and dangerous. Does your generation not have any sense at all? You could be seriously impeding your growth.
You don't know that. You're just making it up like your stupid suicide gene.
These are going down the drain. You'll thank me later.
Mom!
And I don't want to see you touch another bottle until you're 25.
25?
Positively ancient, I know.
That is way too late. Nobody waits that long.
It's when your father started. If you genuinely want to do this to yourself, I'll allow you to start then.
Oh, you'll allow me? Well, once I turn 18, you can't tell me what to do.
Just tell me why, Coral. I want to understand why.
You don't know what it's like.
what it's like. I was young once, as hard as that might be for you to envision.
No,
I know how.
you as a mother.
Oh, Coral. I know it must be
Do
hard.
you? I don't think so.
Then tell me.
People say things about you. That there's something wrong with you, that you belong in an ager's home, that you're going to...
To what?
To die. She's afraid you're going to die and leave her.
Every year it's worse.
So I embarrass you.
You just... Why can't you be normal, Mom?
Hug her, you fool. Reach out to her. She's 17. She's mad at the world. It's not about you.
Is that what this is about? Me? Do you want to prove that you're not like your mother? Well, you've certainly succeeded. You're not. You have brooded quite a bit over how ashamed you are of me, but you ever considered that I might be ashamed of you too?
I want to go stay with Dad this weekend.
He's busy with work.
Then I'll stay with Olivia.
Who?
Grandma. We're friends. We've been friends ever since the moon trip. Oh, you didn't know that?
Did she give you these?
I said I'm not telling. I have to go pack.
Coral, if I find out that she gave this... Eric?
Hi, you've reached Eric. I'm not available right now, but please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Call me, please.
Things only grew more strained after that, both at home and in the lab. You spent more and more time with your father, less time at home with me, and then you moved out. I was lonely, adrift. I needed an anchor, someone to hold me in place. Instead,
Eric, again a hologram, and Marin in their living room.
Maybe it won't be so bad, man.
What?
You've been doing the same thing for 25 years. You might enjoy a change.
How would you feel if the dam were suddenly canceled? Everything disassembled, all the workers sent home. You've devoted your entire career to that project. This is mine, was mine, and I was making progress.
I'm sorry. They offered you a new position, though?
Tucked away where I can't embarrass anyone.
I'm sure it wasn't about that.
You're right. I know exactly what it was about.
Conspiracy thinking won't help.
Lomerix is behind this. She's behind this.
Mayor,
You know it's true.
you're brilliant, Mayor. There's so many other things you could pursue.
No, I want to know why the old young are killing themselves.
They're from another generation. Maybe one less able to adapt to a changing world.
So, you've bought into Lomerix's explanation too? Eric?
Let's talk later, Mayor. Okay? I'm getting another call. We need to get back to work.
Oh. Okay.
I am sorry, really. But I know this will all work out for the best.
Eric, wait. you come home?
Oh, Mayor. I'm sorry. They need me here until next month.
Oh,
Things are critical right now. The Spanish are trying to renegotiate their share of the costs, and the obstructors are getting out of control. Over a dozen arrests yesterday. I'm sure you've seen the news.
yes. Stay safe.
I will. I'll call you on your birthday, okay?
Okay.
It's strange, perhaps a bit unjust, that the older one becomes, the faster time seems to move. Like a river gathers speed as it approaches the falls at the end. Summers that once seemed to last whole epochs flit by like loop cars in the span of a few weeks. Even the minutes in a single hour feel compressed and shortened, distorted by the cosmic force of time's acceleration. 5 more years seem to pass in as many heartbeats.
Lights up on Marin, now about 60, and Eric in their living room. Marin holds an expensive-looking necklace. An opened box is nearby.
Forgive me, Mayor. Mayor, please. I'm sorry. I love you. I'll always love you. I just,
Not attracted to me.
those are your words, not mine.
We saw this coming, Eric. I'm 60, you're 60, but you look 25 and you have the energy of a young man.
That
Well,
shouldn't matter to me. It doesn't.
if not now, what about when I'm 70, 80, 90? If I'm even,
I'll still love you. I can't imagine loving anyone else. She doesn't mean anything to me. She's just someone I get lonely down at the dam sometimes.
I don't want to know the details.
I want to be with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
But we'll never grow old together.
Please forgive me.
It's not just you, Eric.
What?
I'm getting older and I know how it must look to you, but I'm not the only one who's changing. Every year in my eyes, you grow younger, more childlike. I don't see a man anymore. I've lost energy, yes, and it's made me slow down, look inward, grow more contemplative, maybe. You're the same, Eric. You've always been. And I love that, Eric. But looking at you, it's like looking at an image, a memory, not a real person.
You're bored with me.
Your words, not mine. I'm sorry, I never expected this.
Have you considered it, Mayor?
What?
Starting Lomerix now? Before it's too late? Forget about your mother. Let her blow. What does it matter? Freeze yourself here, in this body, and we won't grow any farther apart.
If I were to start, would you stop?
What?
Stop taking it and let yourself age. For 30 years, don't you see? You'd catch up to me and we'd be together again. Eric?
It's just my work at the dam. I have to be fit.
And what do you propose? That we stay as we are? That I turn into something repulsive to your eyes and you into something ridiculous to mine.
Have some sense, Marin. I thought you'd outgrow this.
You sound like my mother.
It's not fair to me. I'm sorry if that sounds selfish, but it's true. You've been so obsessed with competing with your mother that you haven't even thought about how your life choices affect me or Coral. Think about what you're doing to Coral. Making her grow up with an aging mother, a mother she'll someday have to bury.
Is that such a horrifying idea, children burying their mothers?
Apparently not to you.
I don't want to bury her. I just want her out of my life.
She's not in your life. You haven't let her in.
And I never will.
For God's sake, Marin. She's not evil. She's actually a lot like you.
What?
She has a passion project too. She's dedicated her life to it. The old young may be killing themselves at a higher rate than others, but so what? If it weren't for your mother's research, they'd be dying anyway, from organ failure or dementia or any number of things. Olivia is not out to destroy you. She wants you to be happy and healthy. It's you who twists everything she does to make her look like a monster.
It's her.
What?
Oh, this was for her, wasn't it?
What? I don't know what you're thinking, but that's
She's
insane.
taken my career, she's taken my daughter, and now she wants the only thing I have left. You were right. I do want to bury her.
Yeah, this is nonsense. You've completely gone.
Tell me her name then.
Where? Oh no, you're still at home? The ceremony's starting soon.
I'm sorry, Coral. I won't be able to make it.
What?
Coral, I'm.
What happened, Mom?
I have an urgent matter at the lab.
Is this a joke? What'd you do, release a bioweapon? How can you just not come?
Oh, please. Let's talk about this later. Just know that I am sorry.
It's because Grandma's here, isn't it?
What?
Dad must have told you. Mom, please. It's my graduation, and I want you both here. Whatever happened between you and her, that's in the past. Just let it go for one day, Mom, for 1 hour. For me.
Can't.
I didn't really want you here anyway.
Coral,
I'm sorry, my dear, if that was a difficult memory to watch. I can't pretend to know for certain that it was not distorted by my own perceptions. But I wanted to show it to you, not out of spite for your father, but so that you might understand what happened between us and why I missed your special day. I'm sorry. I loved you, and I was immensely proud of you. With a degree in astronautics, it didn't take you long to find work. But for me, once I left Nylor, it was a different story.
Lights up on Marin, professionally dressed, as she faces 3 interviewers.
Your resume is impressive, but we're looking for a very energetic person, a fresh face who can get clients excited about our new services.
well, I can't tell you how excited I am about this opportunity. My heart is just racing, imagining the possibilities.
Oh, do you need to rest for a while?
No, I'm okay.
I'm sorry, but I'm just not sure we're the right fit for each other.
Our company relies heavily on the newest, most cutting edge technology. We're seeking someone flexible enough to embrace change and react swiftly to evolving markets and situations.
Ah, change. One of my favorite things. It's the only constant, as they say.
As who says?
It's clear you have a bit of experience. You're probably overqualified for this position.
I actually have very little direct experience in this field. I'm really quite a newcomer.
If you don't mind me asking, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I'd have preferred if they had just been blunt. If they'd only said,
You're too old.
You're too old.
You're too old.
I found odd jobs here and there, none sufficient for a steady income. I even swallowed my pride and tried returning to Nylor, but it was too late. And other aspects of my life began to unravel too. My housing, my medical care. This, as you can imagine, is a fairly significant pre-existing condition.
Lights up on Marin and a doctor, both seated. I'm truly sorry, Marin, but I can't continue to treat you without payment.
I know, but I'm between jobs right now.
And without insurance?
I used to be on my ex-husband's plan, but...
I see. Marin, there are facilities for people in your circumstances. You'd be provided with treatment free of charge.
Treatment? I know what you mean by that, and I won't do it.
I would strongly encourage you to consider it. In my professional medical opinion, you would be foolish not to accept a readily available cure for your disease.
Disease?
If left unchecked, physical aging will lead to further deterioration. The longer you wait, the more severe and expensive the complications that will arise.
I'm healthy. You've told me so. This is just a little cough.
You're as healthy as can be expected.
I eat well, exercise every day.
Yes, and I'd advise you to continue, but that will only take you so far.
I know. I've made my choice.
Marin, I can't legally force you to undergo treatment.
Not yet, but I know the bills they're proposing.
But I need to make sure you understand that your condition is terminal.
I do.
Without treatment for your underlying disease, nor for the secondary diseases certain to arise from it, it would be overly optimistic to expect you to live more than another 10, 15, 20 years at best.
I understand.
Would you like me to recommend a facility?
No. Thank you for your time.
I'd advise drinking hot tea and staying indoors as much as possible. Air pollution is especially bad this time of year.
I pressed on. The summers grew hotter, the air dirtier, the storms more violent, my path more uncertain. I kept trying to contact you, but not to beg you for help, but only to see you, to hear your voice. You never replied, and perhaps I shouldn't blame you. The way you saw it, I abandoned you. The seawalls rose again.
A filthy city street. Marin, disheveled and homeless, sits wrapped in a thin blanket.
Marin? Oh, God. Marin,
Get away from me, Eric.
I can't leave you here.
I want your help.
We've tried to find you. Where have you
You
been?
haven't.
Let me help you. Your mother, she's CEO now. She could get you anything you need.
Go away.
He reluctantly leaves her. More time passes. Eric returns.
Marin,
Leave me alone.
there's a place you can go. A facility for the aged. Your mother arranged it all.
I won't go. I know about those facilities.
There'll be food and a warm bed.
They keep me there like a prisoner.
You need to get off the street. It's illegal now.
To be on the street or to age?
Both.
I won't go.
Please, Marin.
Never call me that again.
Eric leaves. More time passes. He returns again, this time with a young attendant, an employee at a government home for the aged.
Marin,
I said, leave me alone.
I brought someone to help you. She works at the facility.
Would you like to come take a tour, Marin? I think you'll be very pleased.
I'm not interested.
We don't want to have to use force, Marin.
Go to hell, Eric.
Please just come with us.
No,
Marin,
I'll never go.
Marin, just let me
I
take you.
said I'll never go.
Your father is there.
The aches in my body were suddenly gone. Something seized my heart. I thought for a fleeting moment that I was dead. And then I got up and I let them take me to the home. What choice did I have?
The scene transitions to the facility for the aged. An old man, Dylan, sits on a cot in an almost prison-like cell. He is disheveled, confused. Marin enters, led by the attendant. Dylan,
Father?
we have a visitor today. I'll give you a few minutes. Then we need to get you settled in, all right? Talk slowly and clearly. His hearing is poor and we've done our best for him.
Father? Dad? You look like time itself. Father, it's me. Marin. Marin? Your daughter, Marin? I thought you were dead for so long, but you're not. You're here. You must remember me.
You come
Yes, I'm here.
to bring my pill.
No, I don't work here. I'm your daughter, Marin.
Do you have my pill?
Marin, Olivia's daughter. Your daughter? You have to remember me.
I need my pill.
You have to.
Bring me my pill.
You have to.
I want my pill!
Father, you have to remember me, Father. All my life I've wished I could meet you, and now it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. What are you doing here?
I've come to help you.
How dare you speak to me?
Hate me if you must, Marin. Perhaps you have a right to. But what kind of mother would I be if I didn't help my daughter when she needed it the most? A mother's love is unconditional, just the way that it's supposed to be. Unconditional and everlasting.
You lied!
I told you, he took his life. And in a manner of speaking, he did. Those who choose to age condemn themselves to a slow but certain death.
You told me he committed suicide. You kept this from me. Why?
Why do you think?
So I wouldn't do it too?
You're a smart girl, Marin. You take after your mother.
It didn't work. I followed in his footsteps anyway. All those years deceiving me were for nothing.
I did what I could to protect you.
You never wanted to protect me, only yourself.
That's not true. I really have missed you, Marin.
I don't believe a word you say.
I'm telling you the truth. I've tried to reconnect with you. I've offered.
You've never offered me anything. You've only taken things away.
If you're talking about what happened between Eric and I, that wasn't my intention. He was lonely, so was I.
Oh, you were lonely.
You don't know what it was like when he abandoned me.
Oh, really?
My mother had sunk into dementia. I was pregnant with you, and he announces that he wants to age.
You should have respected his choice.
How could I? It was a slap in the face.
Did he leave? Did you throw him out? I see. Who abandoned whom?
I couldn't allow someone like that to be around my child.
You insist you are telling the truth.
I am.
Then tell me this. Did he ever try to contact me? To come back home? Well?
I told you I wanted to protect you.
So he did. But you wouldn't let him. You kept him out of my life.
Much like you keep Coral out of mine.
Oh, that's different.
Why? She's my granddaughter.
He's my father. And what are they doing to him? How can they keep him here frozen alive without memories? They have to let him age.
He would die.
He should. This is worse. How long has he been here?
For some time.
How long?
14 years.
Did you ever come to visit?
He wouldn't have recognized me.
Eric said you arranged for me to come here. Why? There are other homes. Why did you want me to see this?
It must seem cruel of me. I'm sorry. But I couldn't let you die in the streets, Marin. I had to make you understand, to finally see.
See what?
Your future. And you see it now, don't you? You understand? This is just like how I felt the last years of your grandmother's life. Staring into those eyes. that see less and less. Those windows to a dark room, that helpless, aching, gnawing grief. I know it well. I don't want to feel it again. And I don't want those eyes to be yours. And they don't have to be. Take it. Please, Marin. It's too late for him. He was too far advanced in age when they brought him here. But not for you. Not for you. Take it and you'll never grow older. You'll never grow sick and weak and useless. You'll never be a burden to those that need you, and you'll never abandon them. Think of Coral. You'll never have to forget her, and you'll never leave her behind and die.
But that's not true. I will die, Mother, and so will you.
Marin.
You will die weak and feeble, with sagging skin and brittle bones and worn out heart. You'll die as you are now, young and beautiful, but you'll die all the same. And whatever form that death takes, it won't be gentle.
Stop it, Marin.
No, I was never obsessed with death, Mother. You were. You still are. You try to hold it off like all those dams and seawalls, but it'll come. And when it does, it will be brutal and fierce, and there it will be no warning.
I said stop it.
No recounting your life, no reflection or contemplation or readiness or anything.
Enough! You don't have a choice, Marin. You won't be allowed to leave this home.
What?
You're clearly incapable of making decisions yourself.
My mind is perfectly healthy.
Look in the mirror. You're homeless, unemployed, sick.
This is just a cough. It's the smog. I'm fine.
Given your condition and your history, no court would hesitate to concur that you need a legal guardian. And I am your next of kin.
What about Coral?
She agrees with me.
All right.
What?
I'll take it. I'll stay here willingly, and I'll take your pill on one condition: that he stops.
Excuse me?
He has to stop Lomerix.
I told you, he would die.
Then he'll die.
I'm not heartless, Marin.
He's already gone. What they're doing to him isn't about compassion, it's about fear. They're tormenting him. I'll take the pills only if he stops.
But they're legally required to.
What about their moral requirements? Besides, I think you're perfectly capable of navigating around legalities.
It's fine. If you refuse, they'll force you to take it anyway.
But I'll resist. They may have to kill me. This is my bargain, Mother. Take it or leave it.
She took it. I stayed there for a year with my father, keeping him company, trying to get to know him as best I could, although I knew he was no longer fully present. He felt like the echo of someone, like the shadow that used to drift about in my dreams. And then, one day, that was gone too.
I'm sorry for your loss.
You don't know what loss is, but thank you.
He had just a few personal belongings when we brought him in. Some old clothing, shoes, a smog mask. And this. It was important to him, though he couldn't articulate why. None of us have been able to access it, but you can take it if you wish.
Password required.
Marin?
Welcome to my memory book, my dear daughter.
I had been prepared to stay there. Up until that day, I'd been resigned to live out the rest of my life. All my gray, monotonous, unending years in that purgatory they called a home. It was the price I'd agreed to pay for my father's dignity. But he wouldn't have wanted it. So I left. Escaped, might be a better term. I'd seen places in my father's memories. People, too. People I contacted who remembered my father, who were willing to help me reach my destination, Morocco. I was drawn to the protests there, to the growing social movement that had surged up like a great wave around the dam. By then, it was about more than Gibraltar, of course. It was about the need to halt sea level rise, not stave off its effects, about addressing global disparity in power and resources, about the future of our planet, and about the treatment of our aged. There were people there who looked like me. I saw in their faces the story of years of change, of losses and triumphs, of transformations, of growth. And being with them changed something in me. It unlocked something.
A little girl sits waiting by the sea. Her face is smooth and polished as a shell. Her eyes are morning stars, I know them well. Their brightness lingers in my memory. She'd call me stranger, yet I know she's me. A woman sees me through a mirror pane. She's rough around the edges, cracked and frayed. The story of her gathered years displayed in gentle ripples like a wind-touched plain. Still, she is me. Still, she is me.
My core, myself remains.
I see another only in my mind.
Her contours are an unknown shoreline,
Hewn by tides to come.
half shadowed like the moon.
And in those features,
Weather worn and lined.
is it a stranger or myself I'll find?
Marin considers aged Marin for a moment, then embraces her. Lights fade.
I returned to the United States only when word reached me that my mother was unwell. Be careful, I'd been warned. It's a dangerous country these days, a collapsing empire, violent, unstable, especially along the coasts. Someone has been sabotaging the seawalls. I think it's one of the old young. But here I am, nonetheless. I know you resent me, Coral, for growing old, for leaving your father, for leaving you. I understand. If you resent me still after watching all of this, I still understand. very difficult to forgive one's mother. I'm about to try. The walls can rise no more. My 90th birthday is approaching.
Olivia stands atop a crumbling seawall. Sounds of straining, snapping, groaning, the trickle of water. Enter aged Marin. We are now in real time, not her memories. She carefully makes her way along the wall. Olivia looks up. Aged Marin and Olivia regard each other.
Mother. Hello, Mom. It's me, Marin.
Well, Marin, these years have certainly left their mark on you.
Maybe that's fair. I've left my mark on them.
Your wit is evergreen. I see you didn't hold up your side of the bargain.
I'm sorry to disappoint you again.
What do you want? To watch me jump? To revel in the irony? You've outlived me after all.
I don't think so.
Olivia steps to the edge of the seawall, staring down. She cannot quite bring herself to jump. Aged Marin watches her quietly.
Did you ever find the suicide gene?
No, I don't think it exists.
Marin admits she's wrong. This is an age of truly endless possibilities.
I don't think the old young kill themselves because they love death, but because they fear it.
I suppose you don't. You're at peace. Found some celestial secret.
I do fear it, but not so much that it consumes me.
I am exhausted. Every day is the same. The world is changing, but I'm not. It's the same face in the mirror, the same shadow behind me, and the memories. So many. I can't keep them in order anymore. It's all the names and the faces and the Januaries and the Junes and the summers and the Saturdays, and it's my birthday again and again and again, and they all just blend together and lose their meaning. All the seasons just congealing into one never-ending summer afternoon, and it repulses me. And all I can think of is how it might end. A fall, a bullet, a bomb. Does it hurt to drown? I want to know. I long to know. But I'm afraid. I'm so afraid. Just don't leave.
I won't.
Don't leave.
I won't.
Please don't leave me, Mother.
Aged Marin embraces Olivia, holding her as a mother would hold a child. End of play.
Please join me in giving a round of applause to the cast of Ageless. My name is Gina Drop. If you did not see me at the beginning of this performance, I am the Director of Development, Marketing, and Patron Services for Four Walls Theater. Can the cast and director please join me on screen? Now, will the audience please join me in applauding their amazing performance in the comments? I have a feeling that enough comments come in, we might just be able to hear it. If you have shout outs for the artists that brought you here to watch the show tonight, please comment those in the chat as well. And now I have the great privilege of introducing you to the cast. First, Heather Lee Rogers as Marin. Margaret Lyman Young as aged Marin. Crystal Osborne as Olivia. Seth Nelson as Eric. Audrey Clark as Coral. Mark Lanham as Dylan. And Caitlin Wilcox as our narrator and Swing. I would also like to say a special thank you to our production team. Thank you to our artistic director and founder, Alana Gartner, our playwright, Bridgette Portman, our director, Andra Hunter, our sound designer, M. Florian Staub, and our creative department assistant, Catherine Hintz. And thank you to you. Every donation you made in lieu of ticket prices have made our contribution to Meals on Wheels America possible, as well as supporting our actors and production team. Our GoFundMe will stay live and open for you to donate if you enjoyed this performance, and if you would like to contribute to our Meals on Wheels America Fund and to these artists, or for anyone who chooses to watch this performance after the live ends. It will remain on this channel. Thank you and good night.
And thank you, Gina.